Football fans, I know there's more than one or two of you out there. You are about to rejoice because, as you know, you've circled it on your calendar. The offseason almost over, 23 days. The Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles will kick off a new NFL season. Well, just in time, a new book is giving an insider's account into the battles fought off the field between owners and players. Who's that insider? His name is DeMaurice Smith, and he spent 14 years as the executive director of the NFL Players Association. His new book, Turf Wars, The Fight for the Soul of America's Game. Here is some of our conversation. What's the good part of the NFL? What's the dark, persistent bad part of the NFL?
I think the great part of the NFL is its convening ability. You know, much like the town square that, you know, I really didn't grow up with one here, but, you know, you drive up into the upper Northeast, you know, in the town square, the public square, you know, between that and, you know, the way in which I could touch my high school football experience, whatever I felt playing with our teammates, the idea that Thanksgiving is around football, I think those are all great things. I think the most specious part of it is how the certain elements of the NFL are just manifestations of raw power. And it's raw power when you decide that Colin Kaepernick's not going to play anymore. And it's raw power when you decide, frankly, you know, another journalist, but I know somebody you know, when certain journalists started to speak out about concussions. Mm-hmm. And those, you know, a lot of those people were put on the back burner. You know, Bob Costas, I thought,
attempt to intimidate or silence.
And now you're
sideline, if you will.
And now you're seeing it now. I mean, this bullification of a power center that shuts down free speech, shuts down thought, shuts down just the idea that there's another way of perceiving or articulating things. I think that's the worst side of the NFL. And, you know, I saw it up close. On many occasions, I was the target of that.
Right.
But I also believed that, well, first of all, it's my job to stand up to this. And second, when we do stand up to it, you really do kind of pull away and reveal that maybe the emperor doesn't have the clothes that he or she thinks they have. And I think that's a great thing.
What is the Donald Trump effect on the NFL or vice versa?
Well, I think the effect on the NFL, we felt, you know, 2017 forward, you know, when he stands up and he calls players SOBs. You know, I remember that vividly. Unfortunately, I'll never forget it. But, you know, on a purely personal basis, I will never forget this instant understanding that for him and for the people around him, they thought it was yet another throwaway line of a crazy speech at a crazy time at another political rally that, frankly, is sometimes crazy. I remember distinctly thinking, this person has no idea that he has called a group of players mothers, the B word. Mm-hmm. And for some people, that is a throwaway line. For where I grew up, you know, we would call it jonesing on each other, calling each other names, whatever. Man, once you cross the Rubicon of somebody's mother, you know that there's fisticuffs now.
It's a throwdown.
It's a throwdown. And I think his impact on the NFL was the way in which we saw the NFL respond to it. And literally, I don't know of another time in the NFL's history where there was such a unified belief of defiance
among the players
right. than that.
Right.
And for a union guy who's always looking for something to bring the players together.
Right, to lock arms.
I mean, I wish, you know, there were dozens of times I wish they would do it on a picket line, but, you know, yeah, you can dream.
Right.
But to have a group of people across the league respond to that in a way that I thought was not only positive, I thought it was direct, I thought it was timely, but most importantly, I thought that the players were thoughtful. And yes, some piped off in the media about X, Y, and Z. But what I loved the most was most everybody came back to a reverential moment and knelt.
Right. Let's unpack that for a moment, because you write about it extensively in the book. So Colin Kaepernick is the first person to do this.
Yeah.
It is to protest what he regards as a pattern, if not a system, of police brutality in our country. And then after police brutality occurs, a slap on the wrist or administrative interventions that simply do not render justice.
Right.
He begins to kneel. Other players begin to kneel. You even write in the book that Jerry Jones at one time, owner of the Cowboys.
Well, he came together on that Monday night after
the shock
Trump.
of you and many others.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked that Jerry made his way to the middle of the field, to be dead honest. But when I realized that his team was going to kneel, you knew Jerry was going to kneel. But to your point, that's a moment that was started by Cap. And again, a thoughtful moment of this is what I see going on in the country, and this is how I'm going to react.
You can see my full conversation with DeMaurice Smith, which runs a fascinating 40 minutes on CBSNews.com, the Takeout page on YouTube, and all podcast platforms.